The new heaven and earth, Yahuah and Yahusha's reign over New Yerushalayim for 1,000 years. In the grand narrative of Scripture, the promise of a new heaven and a new earth stands as the climax of Yahweh's redemptive plan. This divine promise encapsulates the ultimate restoration of creation, where Yahuah, through His Son Yahusha, will rule over New Yerushalayim in a reign that lasts 1,000 years. This period, often referred to as the Millennial Reign, connects deeply with Yahweh's covenant with His people and reflects His eternal purpose to dwell with them. The promise of a new creation, the concept of a new heaven and a new earth, is rooted in prophetic scripture, particularly in Isaiah 65-17, where Yahuah declares, "Behold, I will create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered, nor come to mind." This profound promise reveals Yahweh's plan to bring forth a complete transformation of creation, free from the corruption caused by sin. This vision is later echoed in the book of Revelation, Revelation 21:1-4, where the Apostle John saw a new heaven and a new earth, with the holy city, New Yerushalayim, descending from Yahuah. This future creation will be a place where righteousness dwells, as Peter highlights in 2 Peter 3:13. The new heaven and earth represent a return to a state of divine harmony, where Yahweh's will is perfectly enacted, and where His people will experience eternal peace, joy, and communion with Him. Yahusha's millennial reign, a time of righteous rule. At the heart of this new creation is the reign of Yahushua HaMashiach. Revelation 20:4-6 outlines the period of Yahusha's 1,000-year reign, where He will establish His rulership from New Yerushalayim. This period, known as the Millennial Reign, is a time of unprecedented peace, justice, and restoration. Yahusha, as King of Kings, will govern the nations with righteousness, and His saints, those who have been faithful to Yahweh, will reign with Him. The Millennial Reign represents the fulfillment of many prophecies concerning the coming of the Messiah and His righteous government. Isaiah 9:6-7 proclaims that Yahusha will sit upon the throne of David and rule with justice forever. This reign is not only about political power, but about spiritual renewal, as Yahusha's rule will bring healing to the nations and the restoration of all that was lost through sin. New Yerushalayim, the dwelling place of Yahuah and His people. Central to the new heaven and earth is the holy city of New Yerushalayim. Revelation 21:2 describes this city as prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. It symbolizes the covenant relationship between Yahweh and His people, where He will dwell among them as their Elohim, and they shall be His people. This city will be a place of indescribable beauty, where the glory of Yahweh illuminates everything, and there will be no need for the sun or moon. Revelation 21:23. In New Yerushalayim, Yahweh's presence will be fully manifest, and the separation between heaven and earth will be no more. The reign of Yahusha from this city will not only be a political or territorial rule, but also a spiritual reign over the hearts of all creation. The city represents Yahweh's ultimate desire to dwell among His people, as seen in the ancient tabernacle and temple, but now realized in its fullness. The connection between the millennial reign and eternity. The millennial reign serves as a bridge between the present world and the eternal state. During this time, Yahusha will bring about the final subjugation of all things under His authority. 1 Corinthians 15:25-28. This period is a fulfillment of Yahweh's promise to establish His kingdom on earth, as prophesied in Daniel 7:13-14. After the 1,000 years, there will be a final judgment, and Yahweh will create a new heaven and earth that will last forever. The reign of Yahusha in New Yerushalayim for 1,000 years is a foreshadowing of the eternal reign of Yahweh. It is during this time that the last remnants of sin and death will be destroyed, and Yahweh's ultimate victory will be realized. The millennial kingdom prepares the way for the eternal state, where Yahweh himself will be the everlasting light and source of life in the new creation. Revelation 22:1-5. Yahweh's eternal reign, restoring his perfect plan. From the beginning, Yahweh's desire has been to dwell with his creation, as seen in the Garden of Eden. The rebellion of mankind disrupted this perfect relationship, but through Yahusha, Yahuah has provided a way to restore that divine fellowship. The millennial reign and the new heaven and earth are the culmination of Yahuah's redemptive plan to bring creation back into alignment with his will. Yahweh's rulership over the new creation will be marked by perfect justice, love, and peace. The former things, sorrow, pain, death, will be completely erased, and all things will be made new. This eternal reign reflects Yahweh's faithfulness to his promises and his deep love for his people. Conclusion. The new heaven and earth, along with Yahusha's 1,000-year reign from New Yerushalayim, represent the glorious fulfillment of Yahweh's divine plan. This period is not only the culmination of prophetic history, but also the beginning of an eternal age where Yahuah and his people will dwell together in perfect harmony. As we look forward to this future reality, we are reminded of the faithfulness of Yahuah to bring his promises to completion, and of the centrality of Yahusha in the fulfillment of all things. May we live in anticipation of this new creation, seeking to align our lives with the kingdom principles that Yahusha will fully establish in his reign. The promise of the new heaven and earth is not just a distant hope, it is an invitation to participate in Yahweh's eternal plan, where he will reign forever with his people, and his glory will fill all of creation. New Yerushalayim, the new earth, and those who will serve in the millennial reign. The prophetic vision of New Yerushalayim descending from heaven is one of the most breathtaking promises in Scripture. This glorious city will be the centerpiece of the new heaven and new earth, the dwelling place of Yahuah among his people. But before the eternal state is fully established, New Yerushalayim will also serve as the heart of Yahusha's millennial reign, where he will rule the nations for 1,000 years. During this time, specific individuals raised from the dead in the first resurrection will serve and reign alongside him. Who are these individuals, and what does it mean to serve in New Yerushalayim for 1,000 years? Let's explore this profound truth and its connection to Yahweh's eternal plan. The promise of New Yerushalayim as the new earth. In Revelation 21:1-2, the Apostle John witnesses the descent of New Yerushalayim, a city unlike any other, described as prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. This city symbolizes the fulfillment of Yahweh's eternal covenant with his people. It will serve as the new earth, where the former things, suffering, death, have passed away. In this new reality, Yahuah will dwell with his people in a tangible, intimate way, just as he intended in the Garden of Eden. New Yerushalayim is not merely a physical location. It represents Yahweh's kingdom fully realized on earth. As described in Revelation 21, the city is filled with divine glory, with streets of gold, gates of pearl, and the very presence of Yahuah himself illuminating it. It will be the center of all creation, the place where Yahweh's throne is established, and his people will live in eternal peace and righteousness. The first resurrection, who will serve in New Yerushalayim for 1,000 years. Before we enter into the eternal state of the new heaven and earth, there is a period known as the Millennial Reign. This is a 1,000-year period where Yahusha, Mashiach, will rule from New Yerushalayim over the nations of the earth. Those who will serve and reign with him during this time are the righteous, who are part of the first resurrection. Revelation 20:4-6 describes this first resurrection, where the faithful followers of Yahusha are raised to life and given authority to reign with him for 1,000 years. These individuals are described as those who, were martyred for their testimony of Yahusha and the word of Yahuah, did not worship the beast or its image, nor take its mark, remained faithful to Yahweh in their lives, overcoming trials and persecution. These individuals are called blessed and holy because they are exempt from the second death, eternal separation from Yahweh, and are given the unique privilege to reign alongside Yahusha during the Millennial Reign. This period is not only about ruling, but about bringing restoration and justice to the earth, as Yahusha's reign establishes a time of peace and righteousness. What will their role be? Those who are raised in the first resurrection will have a special role in governing and administering Yahweh's kingdom during the Millennial Reign. Revelation 5:10 proclaims that Yahusha's followers will be made kings and priests, serving both in spiritual and leadership capacities. Their roles will include judging the nations, as described in 1 Corinthians 6:2. The saints will have the responsibility to judge the world. They will assist Yahusha in ensuring that his righteous laws and judgments are executed over the nations. Administering Yahweh's justice, the 1,000-year reign will be a time when the earth is restored and governed by Yahweh's principles. The resurrected saints will help to administer Yahweh's justice, ensuring peace and righteousness throughout the earth. Serving as priests, in their priestly role, they will lead others in worship, teach the ways of Yahweh, and help facilitate the relationship between Yahweh and the nations. Rebuilding and restoring, the earth will need to be restored after the devastation of the tribulation. Those who reign with Yahusha will participate in the rebuilding of society according to Yahweh's divine order. The new Yerushalayim during the Millennial Reign. During the 1,000 years, New Yerushalayim will be the spiritual and governmental center of Yahusha's reign on earth. While it is described as the eternal city of the new creation, it will also play a vital role in the Millennial Reign. The nations of the earth will be governed from this city, and the resurrected saints will play a crucial role in administering the kingdom. Ezekiel 40-48, though primarily focused on a restored temple, offers a glimpse into the future reign of Yahusha from the city of Yerushalayim. It suggests that the city will be the focal point of worship and leadership during this time, where the presence of Yahweh is experienced in its fullness. Who will inhabit the earth during the 1,000 years? While the resurrected saints will rule and serve in New Yerushalayim, there will still be people on the physical mainland earth during the Millennial Reign. These are individuals who survived the tribulation but were not part of the first resurrection. They will live under the righteous rule of Yahusha and his saints, learning Yahweh's ways and experiencing the peace of his kingdom. The nations will be required to submit to Yahusha's rule, and there will be peace across the earth. However, not everyone will automatically accept Yahusha's authority. Scripture indicates that at the end of the 1,000 years, some will still rebel when Satan is briefly released. Revelation 20:7-9. This suggests that while there will be peace during the Millennial Reign, the hearts of the unresurrected people will still have the potential for rebellion. The transition to eternity. At the conclusion of the Millennial Reign, Satan will be released for a short time, leading one final rebellion, Revelation 20:7-10. This rebellion will be crushed by Yahweh, and Satan will be cast into the lake of fire forever. After this, the great white throne judgment will take place, and all the dead will be judged according to their deeds, Revelation 20:11-15. After the final judgment, the new heaven and new earth will fully come into being. New Yerushalayim will no longer be just the center of the millennial government. It will be the eternal dwelling place of Yahweh with his people. The resurrected saints, along with all of Yahweh's redeemed, will dwell in New Yerushalayim forever, experiencing perfect communion with Yahuah and Yahusha in a world without sin, suffering, or death. In conclusion, a glorious future for Yahweh's people. The Millennial Reign and the establishment of New Yerushalayim are deeply connected to Yahweh's eternal plan for his people. Those who remain faithful to Yahusha and are raised in the first resurrection will have the honor of serving and reigning with him for 1,000 years, helping to restore righteousness and peace to the earth. New Yerushalayim, both as the center of Yahusha's millennial government and the eternal city of the new heaven and earth, represents the fulfillment of Yahweh's promise to dwell with his people. For those who long for his kingdom, this is the ultimate hope, serving the King of Kings in a world renewed, where Yahweh's glory fills all things. As we await this future, may we live lives worthy of the calling, knowing that Yahweh has prepared a place for those who love him and remain faithful until the end.